All right, good morning, everybody. It's a little bit earlier than we normally do this, but since the Discord has been going nuts lately, I have just so many reviews that need to get done, and I really don't like forcing people to wait a long time. So we're gonna try to get as much of this done as we can this morning. I've already done my conquest. I'm pretty much finished with it. I'm finished with territory battles so that I could primarily focus just on doing this and helping people out. So let's see where the day takes us, shall we? Oh, all right. Let's pop some of this stuff up. Second. I did it. I did it just for you. Where are my game frames? You know what? I actually had to log out of my stream stuff to fix something, and I guess that kind of messed with my sources being there. So just give me a second to pop those up. There we go. Okay. So the reviews I have today, they're going to be just slightly out of order because there was one or two of them that kind of fell through the cracks when we started Discord. So I had to bump them up to the top of the list. I felt bad. It was my fault. So let's see what we got. This first one, I don't have a ton of info on. RTJ, top 20 of fleet, arenas, Leviathans. I'm not too sure about the assault battles, and I'm not farming anything. Just got done with Zetas and relics for both Ray and SLKR. This is somebody I know for a fact. I have helped in the past. I have. You're gonna find out. Oh, hey, there you are. Perfect. It makes it so much easier when I see people and they're on when I'm doing this for them. We'll see where that Java counter takes us. So let's see. Let's pop up this .gg. 6.8 million. We got all Leviathans. Haven't had my coffee this morning. All right, we still definitely need to be focusing on a Galactic Legend ship. And I know the review I did for you in the past was in PM. It was before we had a Discord. So I'm just going to kind of pull that up. And I know you guys can't see it. Just to kind of touch base on what I had said previously. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So just checking that out. Let's see what we got here. We still definitely need this GL fleet. We need something there. We'll see what we're closest to. 2GL, so definitely Lightspeed Bundle, or most likely Lightspeed Bundle. I'm not reading the entirety of what I had said before. I just want to kind of get an idea of it so that I know. Okay, ships. And are we waiting on the executor event? Because I know I had mentioned that months ago, and it looks like, I don't know if we're fully ready yet. Razor Crest. It looks like for the most part we're ready for it. Probably maybe some relic levels. Liam, I promise I will definitely get to you today. You're pretty close on the short list. Oh, okay, so we got a couple relic levels left. Jedi Master. We're close to JML, which I think either I had mentioned or you had mentioned fairly early on. Yeah, this is why I like this screen. It kind of gives me a gloss over of these things. But it looks like our ships are relatively in order. We're just finishing some of the relics for it. Profundity. Okay. Leviathan. Go back here. Yeah, I mean, it looks like there was some targeted farming, not so targeted farming here. It's fine. I would definitely highly, highly, highly suggest you're getting pretty close to, to the executor. So I would stay the course on that 100%. Um, the tough thing is with the top 20 of your fleet arena basically being all Leviathans. Executor does struggle there with all Leviathans, but if you do a little bit of extra investment in your IG 88, I think like Relic 8, I don't want to say it's reliable to beat Executor, but it's more reliable, and there are some strategies and there are some guides on how to do it. Now that you're hitting top 50, at least you're getting, I don't know if it was top 50 all the time, but let's just take a second look. Yeah. So now that you're hitting top 50, at least you're getting some degree of crystal income. We definitely like for that crystal income to be increased. If we can hit that into the top 20s, that would be really nice. Once you hit Executor, I would definitely reach out to your fleet shard in regards to that, just to see. You're not going to hit number 1 unless you really heavily invest in your Executor. I don't know if heavily invest in the Executor is the right decision now. Maybe just to Relic 5, or not Relic 5, to 5 stars. I think what I would do here is I would finish Jedi Master Luke. There's Inquisitor. You're fairly close to Jedi Master Luke. It's going to really help you in Conquest as a player, which is going to help you kind of build towards new things a little bit quicker, or you'll have to rely less on Proving Grounds, even if you're not maxing out characters. The reason for my lovely Jabba counter up there is I would absolutely, after Jedi Master Luke, I would be going for Jabba. The ROI on that is just really, really super high. There's no reason not to. We've had 2 smuggler runs in the last 2 weeks, which is insane. It's mind-blowing. Good morning. I've got you, Kaerindal. I shouldn't say people's names because I'm gonna pronounce things wrong, but I've got you on the docket for this morning as well, as a definite 100%. So we had Smugglers run a week ago, and then it came up again today, and it's just mind-blowing how often this event comes around and just how high of an ROI it is. So I would be doing Executor. I would stay at maybe 5 stars with it, in terms of investing, crystals. I would be finishing off Jedi Master Luke. I would be working yourself into Jabba. I didn't even check your marquees yet on when to start them, but let's take a look here. It's just the only answer for almost everybody. And it looks like you've started, right? Bosch is already there. Maybe you were thinking about going for Leia, which is, I just think it's a trap for most people. I would say, let's see, do we have Jedi Master Luke? Yeah. Okay, or Jedi Knight Luke, sorry. I would say that after you have finished Executor, start slow farming the rest of your Jabba marquees, and go Jedi Master Luke into Jabba, and then, Profundity or Leviathan. I noticed you had a Malgus. You do have Malgus. What? How's your Fury class? How many shards of that do you have? I can't imagine you have it, but yeah, you don't have it. But how many shards do you have? Because this might be worth doing, maybe. Mark 6. B. Bomber. Don't even have it unlocked. Okay. Alright. So while I'm waiting for you to kind of let me know on Fury, I'm just going to kind of give you where my thought process is right now. Profundity is not a bad option for you, but you do have Malgus, and I imagine maybe you're not close to Fury class, but now that it's in Proving Grounds, you know, it might be a shorter term option for you. And instead of going for no Fury Shards at all. Let's see. Do you buy the Conquest Pass? The $30 one, the one that gives you extra Proving Grounds? 16 months, holy shit. Might still, I do. Okay, so here's the deal. We have a week until Conquest is done, and Fury class is going to be in Proving Grounds. And I don't know if it's going to be beatable for you or not. SLKR has been able to beat all of them so far. Not always with his regular team. Sometimes you need other things. But it's very likely that you will be able to beat this Proving Grounds if things kind of stay the same. I would hold off on heavily investing towards Leviathan right now until we see if you're able to beat that Proving Grounds. But I would suggest after Jedi Master Luke, after Jabba, if you're able to beat that Proving Grounds. So if you're able to do that, instead of going Profundity, go for Leviathan. You're going to have, I mean, depending on how hardcore you go towards it, and depending on if you're going to be doing any refreshes towards it, you know, you're looking at about 8 to 9 months on getting it unlocked anyway, with no other investment. All right, we're going to take a look at that in a second, but that's not that big of a deal. I think it'll be smarter for you because we're going to be building a new fleet meta going into the summer. And if it's accessible to you, then, you know, taking a couple extra months, it'll help you get to 1 in fleets instead of having to scrounge for scraps at like 20 in order to get your fleets. So I think going into next week, going into next Monday, that should be your decider on whether you are able to do Profundity or whether you're able to do Leviathan. And again, if you're able to do this Proving Grounds and you're consistently buying that Conquest Plus Pass, then do Leviathan. If you're not able to do the Proving Grounds, and, you know, a lot of strategies will come up over the next week or so once that hits anyway. If you are not able to, then I would go for Profundity after that. Profundity can fairly reliably take out Leviathan if you strategize right, and that really is that's really a videos thing where you can watch some videos on that. I know on Discord, Dex had linked something yesterday in terms of Y-Wing. Do you not even have this unlocked yet? Shit. Wow, okay. So our main goal here, we're going to talk for a second about something else, but our main goal here is we're either going to go Jedi Master Luke into Jabba, into Leviathan, or we're going to go Jedi Master Luke into Jabba, into Profundity. Okay, Leviathan if you're able to do those Proving Grounds, Profundity if you're not. But the other thing I want to kind of take a step back and talk about is where your crystal income is going for these ships. You know, so for that Y-Wing, I would be 100% refreshing that once a day at least. For Y-Wing in particular, you might even want to do 2 times a day because you're so close to Jedi Master. Well, it only has to go to 6 stars, right, for Jedi Master, for Luke. So 6 stars would be 230 times 3. 230 times 3 divided by 2. I mean, 70 days or so. That's not terrible. You might consider doing it twice a day, but definitely do it once a day. But the important thing is start your ships early so that you don't have to refresh them. They don't accelerate. So when you isolate something as a fleet that you need to get, that's something that you need to kind of jump on right away. So after Proving Grounds comes out, if we know we're going for Leviathan, make sure that you are putting 5 battles a day into Mark 6, into the B-28 bomber. Do you have Sith Assassin ship? Into Sith Fighter, which might not even be a node. That might be store currency. You'll have to look into that. But make sure you're putting in those battles so you don't get stuck later on. In terms of Proving Grounds, whether or not to, because you're getting 40 shards a month if you're buying Conquest Plus Pass. In terms of whether or not you should refresh, really depends on how close or how far you are away from that from that farm. So if you're able to do Leviathan or Fury classes, you're looking at 8 months with no refreshes, with buying the Conquest Pass, because you're getting 40 shards a month. But when we look at doing Jedi Master Luke and doing Jabba and farming for Leviathan, that might take you 6 to 8 months anyway. So it's probably not worth it for you to do the refresh for it, because the ship itself is not going to help you on its own. As you get towards the end, if you find out that you're going faster than we expected, then at that point you can say, okay, you know what, I'm going to refresh towards the end to pick it up. That way you're utilizing your crystals a little bit in a smarter way, so that your farms are finishing at the times where you need those Proving Ground characters. But again, I do think your major farming strategy should be Jedi Master Luke, do 1x refresh on the wide wing. If you notice that if you're being slowed down by it, then do 2x refreshes. It'll be better than doing it for Proving Grounds. Go into Jabba, just because Jabba is that important of a character at your level. And then Leviathan or Profundity, depending on if you're going to be able to do the Proving Grounds for Fury class. We don't know right now. But I see that as your 6 to 9 month farming strategy. And at that point, once you have Jedi Master Luke, and once you have Jabba, and once you have Leviathan, then you have a little bit more leeway to, there's a most efficient route, but then you have more leeway because you've built a lot of the ROI on your account to be able to kind of progress the way that you want to progress. So I see that, definitely as the way that you are going to want to go moving forward for now. Oh, God. Let's see what else we got on this docket. I'm going to have to scroll up. Because we are a little bit out of order here. There we go. We got this one coming up right here, 23. Ooh, all right. Looking for some advice. Fleet Arena currently getting 5 every day, so that's good. Top 5 every day. Usually first. I'm one of 2 Profundities, and there are about 8 or 9 Executors. No Leviathans. I'm not in any sort of communication. Okay. I mean, screw the Jabba counter. I'm going to tell you right now that that's something, even if there is no fleet shard right now, I would consider starting one. It makes your life so much easier, or at least try to reach out to them if you haven't tried to reach out to them. It makes life easier. It's not just about getting first. It's about getting first in the least amount of battles. Last night, I was at number 4 the whole day. I had to do 1 battle to get to 1. It was amazing. And some nights, like Mondays and usually like Wednesdays, I go to like 15 because I guess my fleet shard's more active during the week. But it's just so beautiful when you when people know who to hit in order to make it easy for everybody. Assault battles, ground war, blah, 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 blah. All right, so the only two we're really definitely missing are Secrets and Shadows, Fanatical Devotion, currently farming Inquisitors for the Guild, just finished SLKR requirements. This was 317, it's now 325, so you probably either have SLKR very close. The ultimate will take another 2 to 3 weeks for you. Once you have the ultimate, you will be able to do Places of Power at CT3. It's just going to be a pain in the ass because you have to do it at 1 star, but it's better than nothing. Don't really have any special characters. My only real goal at the moment is to have a roster better equipped to tackle hard conquest because I'm only getting the 3rd crate. All right. Okay, let's see what we got here. Iridium 4, 5 million. We already know he's doing really well in the fleets with his profundity, but let's just kind of see where that profundity is at. We do have Jedi Master Luke. That's going to significantly be a super big help for Conquest. A lot of times, Conquest, when you have Jedi Master Luke, is really just about knowing what the cheeses are. That's why it's great to be on our Discord and like the event server Discord, because there's a lot of people that kind of come up with some crazy strategies in order to do that as efficiently as possible. Did we unlock him yet? No, have not unlocked him yet, but we should be well on our way to doing so. Wonder. Beskar Mando. Okay. Let's check this out. Ground War. Okay, we have that Rebel Roundup. All right. We always go right to Java, right? Just to see. I haven't officially said, hey, do it yet, but where's Leviathan, Jabba, Inquisitors? Inquisitors are going to get you, I mean, you can do CT3 before you have Reva, but it's a pain in the ass. So Inquisitors are at the very least going to give you CT2, which is really nice. And once you have her, CT3 is really not too terribly hard. Check one more thing out. Okay. So as a short-term goal, included with your Inquisitors is I would recommend bringing Captain Rex up to like G12 at the very least. You have the Omicron, so he's going to be useful to you in GAC. But this is also going to give you CT1 and Secrets and Shadows with your Phoenix team. You might have to do some remodding because it looks like you bought the Lightspeed bundle. They're probably not super well modded. But Captain Rex does make that possible. And that's going to... I don't want to say it's going to give you an ROI on the Chirotech because you're going to be spending on Captain Rex in order to get there. But because he's useful in other game modes and because you'll find him usable in GAC, we don't look at it as like raw ROI because you are going to be getting game usefulness out of him as well as the materials and the Zetas and everything. CT2 and CT3 of the event are, I think Phoenix can do CT2, but it's a huge pain in the ass, so I don't really recommend going for it. But CT2 and CT3 are not really great ROI items until you start really wanting to invest in your Night Sisters, which I don't recommend for you right now. But I would definitely prioritize getting Captain Rex to a place where you're able to do that event fairly easily. So again, I would say, roughly G12, that's going to make him very usable in GAC, and it's going to allow you to do that event. Easy. And then I want to see one more thing here. No. Okay. Let's check. Dash should be good, right? Yeah, he's there. Beskar Mando. Okay. Let's see what our GR. Well, the thing about Conquest is you look at the current Conquest cycle and you go, oh, hey, I have to do this thing. And then you realize, oh, wait a second. By the time you're investing in these things, it's going to be over. So you're investing in something that's not going to be super great later on. Okay. All right. We're not close to Leviathan. Let's see what else we got going here. About do okay, so here's what I would do. Number one, we know Inquisitors are kind of like on your super short term, and you can't really do anything about that, and that's completely fine. They are not a bad team by any means necessary. Generally not the team that I recommend this early, but, you know, guild's going to guild, and you got to do what your guild says in order to play nice, right? I love that my guild, everybody really works together, especially when we have to do these stupid R9 platoons, and with these, like, crystal deals, like everybody is working to gift each other and because they want to make their money, but that's besides the point. Other than Inquisitors, Captain Rex 100% as a short-term goal to like G12 or so you can get that ROI on Secrets and Shadows. Okay, I would absolutely, hands down, you already have the Marquise done, I would be working on Jabba. Jabba is really, really, really solid. The ROI on the character is great for modding, which is going to help you in Conquest. I also find him as one of my better Conquest tools, especially when we get things like don't use any Force users. He's my go-to don't use any Force users team. And Kursatan is, if I'm saying that right, is just a really awesome tank. So sometimes, especially this Conquest cycle with Voluntary Vanguard, I've been throwing in 4 with Jabba, Voluntary Vanguard, and throwing in a cheese character in there as well. And I've been finding that super useful for different feats. In Sector 5, which was no tanks, I was doing 4 Hut Cartel and like Chupio to get blinds and evade ups, but also get my no tanks feat. My no attackers feat, right? I can do that with Jabba as well because he's a support GL, and with things like Zealous Ambitions, it's really, really, really helpful. So I do find him to be one of my Conquest tools that I use more often. He's also going to give you the CT3 in Rebel Roundup, which isn't a super big concern, but it is a nice thing just to have, as well as that Smuggler's Run 2, which is something that you're going to really want. At that point, after going for Jabba, I would seriously consider, number one, bringing Beskar Mando up. He's also a really nice Conquest character. I use him in the lead slot a lot with like Han and Chewie sometimes, right? You're in a place where you're probably using your CLS squad a ton in Conquest, and that's a great squad to use, but I find that sometimes for like cheesing certain feats, getting Beskar Mando in the lead and doing Han and Chewie to get like the TM train rolling can be significantly helpful to me, even as a higher end player, in order to kind of get through some of the bosses. With that said, building into Beskar Mando, I would seriously consider also getting Executor. You already have Razor Crest. You have the ships mostly in order. You're going to be bringing Beskar Mando up anyway, bringing the relic requirement down a little bit. But the reason that I suggest Executor is you're already doing really well in fleets. Get it to 4 stars. Don't invest any further in it. Just start letting the game give you shards every month. There are people in Kyber who have really just not the greatest rosters at all, but just by investing in their fleets and having a really strong fleet GL backing, they're able to push all the way to Kyber, and you're already fairly close to it. So I don't think it should be your priority goal, but I do think it is something that you should be working on in the midterm, because when you start to think about going for Leviathan as you get Malgus and the Fury class, you're going to be at a point where your Executor is just in the background, building up, and you'll be able to invest in your Leviathan more readily at that point. Fleets, I hate fleets. They're the worst, but it's just something you really do need to invest in the game, and it's one of the things that I'm constantly investing in first and trying to push to get to first, because it's what keeps me in Kyber 2 as a as a player who does not like GAC and just turtles. You don't have Malgus yet, you don't have Fury class yet, so Leviathan isn't a short-term goal for you, but because you're going to be building Beskar Mando anyway, you're just so close to it. Get yourself to the point where you're getting those free. Servant, yeah man, I see it all the time. I see it like all the time in Kyber, and I watch sometimes Captain Amazing streams in the morning, and he's like a 7-8 million GP player who's just heavily invested in his fleets, and he's right behind me in Kyber 2, and I have almost 11.5 million GP. The people that want to get ahead, they invest in their fleets early. So I would say Captain Rex is a short-term goal. Obviously Inquisitors is something that you're doing anyway. Go for Jabba, go for Beskar Mando, and then really heavily consider Executor. At that point, you've built the low-end ROI on your account, and you can kind of choose to do whatever you want. See, that's a perfect example right here in chat, right? 7.6 million, literally only 2 GLs, but has the ships, and the ships are what make it, and the ships are what get you there. And that'll increase your crystal income, and it'll increase your ability to move through conquest. So I think that that's more than anything else the route, that you need to be going. So let's move on from there. We're 2 for 2 on Jabba. 2 for 2 on Jabba. It's always Jabba. Everything leads to Jabba. Just make sure I have the right one. Astra. All right, Liam, I'm assuming you're still here, right? I saw you a little bit earlier, so I might ask you some questions depending, but it looks like you gave me a pretty good backing here in this message. Where to take my free-to-pay alt account. Trying to be as efficient as possible, have a rough idea, wish to get more opinions before fully committing. Fleet Arena. Mordecai, that kind of reminds me of Moon just posted on Discord a funny Confucius saying of mine. What was it? Family is temporary, SWGOH lasts forever. And I kind of have to add something like that with Jabba to my requests from him. Fleet Arena, currently able to get just outside of top 50. If I'm on at payout, normally I float around the top 100. Chart is around a year old in the top 20. Consists of 2 Leviathans, 14 Executors, 2 Profundities, 1 Finalizer, and an Endurance in a pear tree. Assault battles. So we're not really doing super great on our assault battles, just the military might. At the moment, I'm finishing up Jedi Knight Revan, currently under 40 shards of each character to go before he's unlocked. I'm assuming you're closer now, because this was 317, which was last Saturday, right? So you got them, it's been a week. Thinking of either going Inquisitors into JMK or Gas into Leviathan, and then choosing the other pass one. So this, because I know there's a lag on the stream, this is an alt account, right? So this is a more fun account, but you also want to be efficient. I don't believe JMK or Lord Vader are really efficient uses of a player's time. So you really have to decide here, do I want to do the efficient path, or because this is my alt account, do I want to take the fun path? So that's kind of, I haven't even looked at your account yet, but if you're talking efficient path, we want to kind of loop through the lower end GLs and build up an ROI on the account. If we're talking about like, hey, I don't really care about the ROI because this is my alt account and I just want like some powerhouse characters, those are two different things. So I'm curious where your head is at there while I'm finishing the rest of this. I'm starting to build up a negotiator fleet with the plan on being to use a Marauder. Okay, for GAC, I'm currently in Bronzium 4. I use CLS, Wampa, Bastilla, Jedi, and I'm waiting on getting Jedi Knight Revan, Ewoks without Nessa, Boba led BH, Veer's Troopers on offense, while having Amakan Treya, Phoenix, Old Ben, led CLS, C12 Geos. Alright, so this is all GAC stuff. I'd love to hear your opinion on what path would be more viable given my situation, or whether you would suggest going on another direction. So one of my things is, when you're early on, and again, this is an alt account, so it's a little bit different, and that's why I kind of asked that question before, is you kind of want to loop through 5 of the 7 of the assault battles as an almost definite kind of thing, just because it's significantly helpful to building up things early on. Something like Lord Vader, I don't even think Lord Vader can do CT3 of Places of Power. I'm not 100% sure if he can even do Forest Moon. He might be. I just never have seen it done. There's just so much TM going around, and he doesn't have the TM to be able to do that. If anyone has seen otherwise, let me know. And the same thing with JMK. Without Jedi Knight Luke, you're not doing CT3 of Ground War anytime soon, right? You would want like Cat, but Cat doesn't qualify for that event. So you end up losing a lot of ROI, but is it more fun because this is your secondary account, then maybe. No GLs yet, a lot of G12s though, for somebody at this level. And we're looking to do the Marauder. So if we're looking to do Negotiator or Marauder, we're looking to do the Negotiator Marauder, I'm assuming to take out Leviathans and to be competitive in your fleet. And I mean, then we make a little bit of a case towards going for Lord Vader, just because you're going to need your Bad Batch characters anyway. Yeah, Mordecai, I've toyed with the idea of doing 2 different alt accounts. One, doing 0 GLs, and being as efficient as possible with 0 GLs, just for fun. And 2, being super efficient only on GLs and only getting very specifically what you need for GL stuff. But I don't have the time for that. I barely have the time for my 1 account. More power to the people that do. I could never see myself being in that position. Okay. About equally far away. Interesting. we really need to get some of these up. Let's see what these troopers are looking like. Man, I've been up, Black Knight, I've been up since 5 this morning, and I've literally done nothing but this game other than take a shower. Between TB and everything. So, I'm going to give you 2 paths here. And one of those paths is going to be the more efficient path. And one of these paths is going to be the more, just kind of what it sounds like, what you want to do with this account, even though it says efficient. I would bring an Imperial Trooper team to G12, right? Veers, Piet, Stark, Dark Trooper range. I'd bring them to G12 to try to get at least CT2 on Forest Moon and Rebel Roundup. Maybe you can do CT3 with good modding, but CT2 is good enough. I would then go for Jedi Master Luke. And Jedi Master Luke is going to help you in Military Might, which you're already doing CT2 on. It'll give you CT3. And it'll give you CT3 on Ground War. So that'll give you 4 out of the 7 in terms of ROI for the back-end assault battles. I would also go for Profundity over Executor. Instead of really doing the Marauder route, just because, I don't know what's coming out next. You're going to have to build up those Bad Batch, and that kind of leads you in the Lord Vader kind of route, and I think it's a trap thing to do. I wouldn't necessarily go for this. Let's see what our Sith look like. Oh. And, I'll tell you, where's Papa Palp? I would also bring my Papa Palp up, run Papa Palp at like G11, G12 as the lead with Treya, maybe Savage, Nihilus, and maybe Talon. And that should be able to give you CT1 in places of power so that you have the 5 of a 7 assault battles. That's what I would do, right? Imperial Troopers to G12, into Jedi Master Luke, into Profundity, and short-term doing the Sith as well. That's the way that I would be semi-efficient here. Now, looking at the path that you've taken, right, we kind of say, I want to be as efficient as possible, and then you throw me this path, but it's also a second account, not a first account, so the idea of being efficient maybe isn't as important, even though you kind of say it is. The way that I would maybe do this, if I wanted to go and be a little bit more crazy, is I would do the Lord Vader route because of Bad Batch, and that's going to help, and that's going to make your Marauder a lot more, reliable. So I think I would prefer doing Lord Vader, get your Marauder, get those Bad Batch to R5. I don't know if it's going to give you CT3 and anything, but it'll at the very least give you CT1, CT2 on Forest Moon. Lord Vader as a Sith, backing your other Sith will at least give you CT1 on places of power, most likely CT2. Watt's going to be a pain in the ass. I really wouldn't even worry about JMK. If I were to go the Lord Vader route, I think I would go Jedi Master Luke after, into Jabba. And I'm not going to add Jabba to my counter here because I don't think that this is the efficient route to go, but it just sounds the more fun route that you're looking for. And Jabba's not officially on my suggestion for this, but if I were to kind of take your plan and take it as face value as, I'm trying to do something a little bit different, I think I would do Lord Vader into Jedi Master Luke just to finish up some of that ROI with the Jedi. into Jabba just because he's a super important character, and as an account that's a secondary account, you know, doing Smuggler's Run 2 consistently and not always modding things, it'll give you a nice backing, you know, in the end. So, you know, I have the route that I would go, and then I have the route here that I think is more up your alley in terms of what you should do. I recommend mine, obviously. You have to do what's right in terms of what you think better benefits this account specifically. If you're gonna do gas and you're gonna do the Lord Vader route, I would take the time to, you know, work on your 501st too, just so you have that. Just so you have that squad as well. All right, let's move on, shall we? GG Discord. What's our timestamp? For those of you playing along at home as well, you can see up at top, I have been doing a lot better with my Road to R9 Gungans. I'm kind of getting there now. My signal data I'm not as worried about anymore. I was a little bit worried about that at first. I think right now I'm concerned about my Iridium heat sinks, my Zinbittles, and my impulse detectors. I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to get all of those to 250. I know that the relic packs just came around, and I'm so freaking tempted to drop 15,000 crystals on it, but that's 15,000 crystals that I don't have for these marquees, so I'm kind of trying to avoid the store right now. No matter what, Jar Jar's coming, but I'd really love to be able to do R9 of them all in one day. We'll see if that happens. Let's see what we have here. I'm looking for advice on my current unfinished projects. Everything was clear before Lightspeed bundles. That seems to be the case with a lot of people. Now everything's a big mess, and I try to pick the most important things to do. Star Wars Galaxy, Assault Battle. All right, so we're a higher end character. Yeah, I haven't spent any crystals outside of like my normal daily routine for the things that I need. I'd love to, but I need that Jar Jar. One of my guild leader wants me to do the 40% crystal trade with him. And on the one hand, it's a great value. It's like 205 crystals per. But on the other hand, I'm also like, oh, I want to be able to say I did this free. So I might have to track those separately if I do it. So higher end account, CT3 of pretty much all of them except Secrets and Shadows and Fanatical Devotion. A lot of unfinished projects because of both Lightspeed bundles, my previous farming path, and getting Conquest, but I decided to move now for Leviathan. Now it's the best fleet in the game. Yeah, after we talk about this a lot, the new fleet meta, the shift, how it'll be more future-proof. Not far from getting it. Unlock Malgus in 4 months. But, okay, so Fury class and Malgus were within 2 to 3 months of. That's nice. Of course, there's also DR and Malik needed to be unlocked, but that's a short path. That's super quick. Don't worry about that. Relic 7 to 9 scrap is basically done because of my hoarding. Might sound stupid as I have way shorter and easier things. After that, I'm torn on what I should get. Here are some of the closest things. I wrote down my timestamp, but thank you. I did. I wrote it down. I have it here somewhere. I can't see my screen right now, but they're there. Leia, Rey, Mandalorians, Imperial Remnant, Profundity, Jedi Knight, Cal Kestis, Bo-Katan. I would love to see your own point on these and help me choose. As for GAC, I'm Kyber 3. Alright, let's see what we got here, shall we? And I've been doing really good with switching my sources as well. $7.5 million. So I can't increase my Jabba counter on this one because he has Jabba. So that's good. That's one interesting that I don't have to worry about. Fleets. The one thing I don't think I see here is what is currently in your fleet arena. But, I mean, it looks like you're pretty consistently at least getting into the top 10. Not always at the 1 slot, but you are getting your crystals. Just as an aside, if you're not already talking to your fleet shard, make sure that you're talking to your fleet shard. Let's see. You're gonna start making me sing Aladdin the musical. You guys don't want to hear that. 1, 2, C, SLKR. Okay. We have the Lightspeed bundles, right? So let's check out these guys. Are we not? Alright, so you have Captain Rex at 1 Omicron, and you have Phoenix. There's no Zetas on Phoenix, which I know are going to be a real tough thing. And it makes it tough for me to say, hey, you should get, their Zetas in order to do Secrets and Shadows. I don't know how many of them that you need. You're probably most definitely going to need Hera's at the very, very least. Maybe as I'm talking about other things, somebody who's tried it at low Phoenix can kind of give their experience on that. But it's maybe something to look into, is how few Zetas you're going to need in order to get that. Let's see. It's been about a week, so let's see how our Revens are doing. Not there yet. Old Republic. Okay, they're getting there. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you here. The thing about Leviathan versus like Profundity or something like that is you're looking ahead at the next fleet meta. You're already doing well in your fleet arena, so it's not a bad thing to be going for this. It might take you a little bit more time, and that's fine. You already have, like you said, 2 to 3 months, and you should be able to get Malik and Malgus in that Malik and Darth Revan in that time. Just make sure you're saving your get one for Malik, because that can be a real bitch, having to wait for 6 stars and 7 stars for him. So just make sure that that's accounted for in your metrics for going for Leviathan. We're working on it. Working on it. Oh, what's the other one? Dagger. Okay. Okay. Oh, like everybody I'm doing reviews for is here this morning. It's beautiful. Definitely start if you. I mean, obviously you've started your Leviathan shards, but definitely make sure that you are consistently doing that. Otherwise, you're gonna find that you're gonna fall behind. Remember that any hard node or fleet node ship is gonna take 6 months if you're not refreshing, 3 months if you are. So factor that in to your Leviathan farm. Some of those ships that are on hard nodes, refresh them once a day. If your timeline is 2 to 3 months and you already have a lot of the relic salvage, it's really about getting the shards up and getting, Malik and Malgus and getting those characters where they need to be. Okay. I want to go back and check this out. All right, let's just check your message again. Okay. So, you are super close to Rey because of the Lightspeed bundles. I would definitely get her before you do Leia Organa. Just because, I mean, I could see you having her pretty short term where these datacrons that are out, you'll still have access to them. And no GL is a bad GL at basically where you are in the game. Because you're going to be in like a Zeta crunch with all of this stuff going on, don't bother refreshing the Radis event. Let that happen naturally. But I would put some of your hoarded relic materials towards those, because you're working for Leviathan and it's going to take you a couple months. I would be putting some of your hoarded relic materials towards Ray so that you can kind of get started on that more on the short term. Is Leia Organa the better GL? Yeah, absolutely, she is. No Datacrons withstanding. But we're looking at several months for Leia Organa, whereas we're looking at maybe like a month, depending on how many Radish shards you have. Radis shards you have for Ray, and that's going to be a significant impact on your roster. Let's just take a look at this. Let's take a look at your guild. Actually, I want to see. I'm curious. Is your guild starting to push Inquisitors at all yet? At 400 million, you know, I would think that they would be to some extent. Radis 2 months, so depending on the shards you have, because it comes around twice a month. So, you know, again, get those relics ready for her. And once it hits 5-star, just bum rush that event. You might as well. You're already there. You bought the Lightspeed bundles. You spent the $10. Do it. It doesn't, you know, sometimes it makes sense to wait. I don't really necessarily think it makes sense to wait here, but it does make sense to not hoard it. It started, but I have time. Okay, let's see. You know, Inquisitors are not bad. If your guild is starting to tell you, you have a good majority of the ROI kind of built up on your account. They're not a bad team, especially once you get Grand Inquisitor. But once you have Riva, like they explode in terms of how amazing they are. And I know you're not there yet, but if your guild is starting to push them, it's not as awful as people make them seem. Okay. I want to check one more thing here. See where these guys are at. Okay, so Jedi Knight Luke, you're looking at still like that 3 to 4 months timeline anyway, because you're not going to get him by the time his event ends. But it does look like you've put some kind of priority towards them. Oh, but no. It sucks being in a Zeta crunch. Okay. Let's see, Kyber 3, so you're already most of there. What I think I would do here is I would be going for Ray, just because you're super close, right? You're already there, you bought the Lightspeed bundle. It doesn't make sense not to, but don't speed up the event. Doesn't matter. It's not important. You're in a Zeta crunch. You're going to be waiting anyway. After going for Ray, yeah, go for Leviathan. I get your reasoning for it, and based on the timeline you've given me for shards, that's a super reasonable goal. You know, because you're already hitting high in your fleet, I wouldn't necessarily say go to 7-star immediately. Use your fleet shard to kind of gauge. Because if you can do that event over... if you can do that event over 4 to 5 months, you're saving like 6,000 to 7,000 crystals. You might have to do it right away, but I don't think you're going to need to based on just what I'm seeing. Again, things can change in 3-4 months, so I don't fully know 100%. Now, you are in a pretty significant Zeta crunch, so I think at that point, I probably would do Profundity. And the reason why is because it's a fleet event, you're not going to need to invest as heavily in characters from Zetas. So it'll give you some time to kind of relax on that and build up your Zeta routine a little bit. I do think Bo-Katan Mandalore is a trap for most people. I know that guilds are going to be kind of pushing it for Mandalore, but at your guild level, I don't think it's going to be as big a deal as going Jedi Knight Cal Kestis or as going Inquisitors. So I think that the way that I would do things is I would do Ray on a slow farm, Leviathan because you want to build up and think to the future, Profundity because it'll give you time to build up Zetas, and also you can slow farm the shards. You're not going to have to bring it to 7-star right away, so you're kind of building a back end there. And after Profundity, oh man, I really think that your guild is going to want you to go Inquisitors by that time, and you're not going to be able to avoid it. But I do think that that's probably the time to go for. You got lucky on those Grogu shards. Then, she's not bad. She's very good. I just think that she's a trap for most people. I would say at that point between Leia and Bo, there's no wrong answer. Ender Escalation doesn't even factor into it. I don't think there's a wrong answer between the two characters. It comes around every month, so it's not necessarily a big problem to go for her. But I think your guild is going to want you to go for Inquisitors, and you're going to get stuck doing it. But I will remind you, it's really not as bad as it sounds, and they are super often in Conquest anyway for doing not Plague, Purge, and Inquisitor kills and Inquisitor wins. So it kind of gives you a hyper-specific team for that. So I would say between Bo-Katan and Leia, choose the one that you like more. It sounds like you want to do Bo, but that might be where you're going to need to slot in, Inquisitors at that point. In terms of Maul Mandalorians, do you see it? Let's see. You do see yourself? Yeah, the chat sometimes gets buggy. I hate it. In terms of Maul Mandalorians, I like the team. I really do. I use them. Where is your Maul right now? Yeah. The thing about Maul Mandalorians is that you're in Kyber 3. When you build these fleets out, that should help you get to Kyber 2. Just on fleets alone. I think they're a great GAC team. I do enjoy using them. I just don't see them as a priority right now. I do think that you need to... Your ROI is almost there, but I think you need to focus on building out those fleets. And because you already... got lucky with Grogu, between those three characters in Bo-Katan, you're going to have a super solid Lord Vader counter that's going to make things, really, really easy for you. And Darth Bane, I've seen people use it for Leia. So if you have Bo-Katan for Lord Vader and you have Bane for Leia, and that leaves C open for whatever pain in the ass team you want to use it on. I feel like I use it on a different team every single time. You're kind of building out these non-GL counters anyway. I see Maul Mandalorians as kind of a luxury based on where you are in the game right now. So again, not necessarily a wrong choice, but I think the plan that we've kind of outlined with the fleets is going to better serve you. And it's going to make things cheaper for you in the long run. JMK, he's tough, man. And what it comes down to a lot of the times is the datacrons, I've seen Bane beat Jedi Master Kenobi, but with high relic investment. Relic 8, Relic 9. Mine's only Relic 5, so I haven't tried it just because I'm saving literally everything for my Gungans. I do think that when we look at the datacrons that are up right now, that you might have an easier time beating JMK because a lot of, I don't remember if Kit Fisto's is locked behind Galactic Legends or not. I know Keller and Bex, I'm pretty sure, is locked behind No Galactic Legends. But I basically had this discussion with a guild mate, another officer yesterday, when he was talking about, burning crystals towards getting Rey, because he never did Rey, and now he wants to do Rey. and talking about whether the crystals you're going to make up in that short term is going to be worth it. I think that if you want to do Maul Mandalorians, you should kind of do that in the background slowly if you have extra materials. You know, so when you have extra materials, when you say, oh, hey, I'm kind of flush right now, let me put a gear level or 2 on him, I don't think they're a priority. What I might recommend you do, you know, you're on our Discord, maybe get a second opinion from Captain Amazing. He is more of a GAC player than I am. He is someone that really invests a lot of his time in doing that. I invest in the back end and the ROI and on the whole picture, whereas he's very hyper focused on the GAC. But I see it as a luxury for you, and I think that if you really heavily invest in the fleets, you're going to have not as much trouble, and your opponents are going to run into problems against you. You know, so if you want a second opinion on Maul Mandalorians, I would go chat with him. But I just don't see it as being the smartest move right now. You're just so beyond close to Rey. The fleet is going to help you, especially as we move into the next fleet meta. It's going to help you just as a Kyber player. Man, you know, let's see what we got here. This is what you have. I know there was a what to Zeta next thing. Is that in here? Oh, there we go. Let's see what we're missing. One of the other tough things that we're going to have here when we're looking at this and looking at our, you know, the Zetas that are missing, is I'm thinking about the fact that you are going to need 120 Zetas for Rey when that comes up. Let's see what... See, like, B1 Zeta is really great, but your Separatists aren't really up there right now anyway, so it doesn't really necessarily matter for you right now. Let's see what Zeta... Yeah, Zori. I don't really use Jolie anymore. Super useful Zeta if you're using him, but I don't. You know, you look at like GKs is really nice, but your Grand Republic are not super great either, so it doesn't really necessarily matter for you right now. I would say that just based on where your current roster is, you know, the Zetas that are speaking to me and I'm like, oh, hey, these are really good ones. They don't apply to you yet. You know, because you don't have the teams that need them yet. I mean, Rey's Zetas are great if you're planning on using that Rey team. JTR can make her a real pain in the ass. and you're going to want to invest in that team. That's the thing, you know, you have so many Zetas coming up that, like, you're looking at these luxury Zetas. I don't see any here where, like, you see me jumping between the two screens and I go, oh wait, maybe this one, but you don't have the team for it. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, you know, right now. I'd worry about staying on the path and worrying about that later. Once you get to the point where you're more flush, like you said, these Lightspeed bundles, they throw you for a loop. They throw you to a point where you go, oh, what do I do at this point? Because I have so many teams that I wasn't going for that you're now going for. So those are just kind of some things to keep in mind. But the way that I kind of outlined the plan, that's really where I think you should be, you know, where I think you should be going. See if Kaerindal, are you still here with us? We do a back and forth. Let's see. Mostly 7-star executors. Yeah, sure. So before oh, that's you. Okay, perfect. So give me 1 second. So DRX, what I would say is do Ray first because you're already there. But slow down on the Radis event. Don't refresh the Radis event. After you do the Radis event, I would do Leviathan, right? Because you gave me like a 2 to 3 month timeline on those shards. When doing the Leviathan event, again, if you're not already, I see that a lot of your ships are kind of getting there, so it implies that you're working on them. Just don't sleep on them because they take a long time. Oh man, I'm hungry. And then I would do Profundity because you're hurting for Zetas and having another fleet is going to really help you in GAC. And because you'll be able to slow farm the shards after you hit 4-star. So kind of as a buffer thing to do right now. After that, I would choose between Bow or Leia. It sounds like you want to do Bow more, right? So then do Bow then, and then from there, you know, reassess based on all of the stuff that's coming out. But I think that's a good, you know, 6-month plan for you. All right, let's see what we got here. Mostly 7-star Executor, some Negotiator, no other Leviathans or Profundities, no Discord. I comfortably sit in first, stay in first, rarely battle except for daily. That's nice. I love days like that. I would still maybe consider setting up a fleet shard just to make your life easier once people do it, or maybe wait until people do it and set it up. CT3, Military Might CT2, Ground War CT3. That's strange that you're doing Rebel Roundup at Military Might at CT2. We're going to take a look at that. Mordecai, what I do is, actually, I don't even have L3 at 7 stars because I refuse to do it. But if I isolate a Cantina farm that I need, but I don't need it right this second, I do like 4 or 5 battles on it a day, and then the rest on signal data. So isolate something, I say, hey, I might need this in 4 or 5 months. I just do 4 or 5 battles, just so that I don't feel cut off from signal data. But it's all in your head. It's all it's, you know, whether you do it now or whether you do it later, it's psychological. That's how I do it because psychologically it works better for me. Ready. Well, if you're doing CT3 Ground War, you probably have Jedi Master Luke, so you should be able to do it. I'm going to take a look at that in a second. Ray got the LSP on those mods, always mods, really to remod. Honestly, having started in June 2022, you're in a great spot right now. Oh my god. Killing me. I think I want to do something not GL length farm. Okay, so GI and Riva is a hard push, so we're assuming that's something that we have to do no matter what. That's fine. I feel that on GL Thrawn. I see him as a front runner for a GL at some point. He's somebody that I do really think is going to be a GL in the shorter term. 7 million. We know you're hitting your fleets. Let's see what we got going on here. Actually, I wanted to look at this. Only 2 GL. Wow. Okay. So we're working. We have the Radis and the finalizer, so we already have that stuff done for these two, for SLKR Ray. All right, so you don't have Jedi Master Luke yet, but you do have Jedi Knight Luke. All right, okay. So we're going to look at that CLS squad in a second. So obviously Kylo and Rey, yeah, you have the Inquisitors, you have Kylo and Rey. I'd agree with you. Kylo, you're literally right there. It doesn't make sense not to do it. You're going to find yourself in a nice severe Zeta crunch at this point, but you know, it doesn't make sense not to. You're so close, and the same thing with Rey, which isn't always the case, but in your case, a lot of the ROI for your account is already there. So you can afford to kind of, I don't want to say, it's not make bad choices, but make choices that other people might not make. I do agree with where you're going with that. Let's see. That's why. Okay. Rey, Han, Chupio. Where's Chupio? And Chewbacca. Your CLS squad should definitely be able to do this at this point. So saying, hey, next time, yes. If they need to remod, they need to remod. The only thing you really have to do is, you know, make sure to use the event special on everybody in the first round, because that stays through the whole battle. And if that stays through the whole battle, which it does, it gives you so many more assists, and it makes it super easy to do. Easy to do military might at CT3. So you know, based on the fact that you've just recently kind of built these guys up, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. As far as Thrawn, I actually haven't read the original Heir to the Empire, but I have read the updated 6 books. And he's just, oh my God, I love the opening scene of the first one with him on the shuttle. It's just amazing. It's such a good scene. Listen, you say tomato, I say tomato, right? Hair, air, same shit. Hairbish. Does anyone know the reference to Hairbish? Be very surprised. You obviously have Bosch already. And you have Luke. God. Let's check out your guild. Let's see where you're at. 425. What are we doing for? No. It's not a Star Wars reference. It's okay. What box is your guild currently doing on Speeder Bike? Hairbish is it's a reference to one of my favorite podcasts. My dad wrote a porno. It's hilarious. 1010 would recommend it to anybody. All right, so your guild doesn't push it very hard on. That's fine. That by itself, the fact that your guild doesn't push it very hard is good to know. The reason I'm asking isn't even for, I have to do my TB notices, isn't even for the speeder bike itself. It's to kind of get the idea of what they're going to do going forward for the next raid, for the Jar Jar raid. You know, and how much you really necessarily want to push towards it, you know, and how much it's going to help you or not help you. I would, honestly, I'm looking at what you're telling me and not necessarily wanting to do another GL after Rey and Kylo, but I really think, especially because you yourself have isolated the fact that you are struggling with mods, that you need to go for Jabba. Like, you've been on this stream today, you've been on this stream before, I can only assume your name looks very familiar. You want to mod, you have to go for Jabba. You have to. And you've already done the hard parts, right? Like, you have Bosch already up. Yeah, you have Bosch already up. You have Jedi Knight Luke already up. He's already there. You have 2 more marquees that you have to worry about. You have, well, you don't have Profundity, but I'm assuming your Outrider can't be in the worst shape. And even if it is, doesn't matter because you have time. Let's just double check it. You have Outrider, you have a Relic Dash. Like, Jabba, do your Inquisitors, your guild wants you to do them, fine. Do your Rey, because she's super close. Do your SLKR because he's super close. Do your Jabba after that because it's going to do exactly what you need him to do. He's going to help you with your modding. At that point, that's the point where you can kind of decide, hey, do I want to do something else? You know, do I want to work on something more fun? Because then you have a lot of the little ROI things kind of done in your account at that point, and you don't have to worry as much anymore. I'm just going to change this goal for my guild. All right. Then you don't have to worry as much anymore, and you can kind of choose what you want to do. I don't recommend investing in Secrets and Shadows unless you're ready to invest in the team itself. I love my Night Sisters. I use my Night Sisters a lot, but there's no ROI in moving that event up higher unless you're ready to go gung-ho with the team. I have them at R8. You don't need to get them to R8. You know, R5 to R7 is fine for usability. I have them at R8. I freaking love them. I think they're amazing at what they do. They're one of my, like, top tier TB teams. And I'm very, very, very happy with them. Let's see what the rest of these Night Sisters look like. You know, they don't really take out a Jabba team anymore after their Datacrons are gone and everything, but I do use them as a 2-shot on Jabba. I use them as my 2-shot. I'm very happy with them. I don't think you're going to get an LSB for Zetas. I think that SLKR and Rey are... They're not the only LSBs, obviously, but I think that they're selling us old stuff that isn't making them money anymore. Zetas are making them money. So you're not going to get, like, this super amazing Zeta deal. It's just too valuable of a material. So I don't see that happening. I would do... Yeah, I mean, you're gonna do the same shit with Night Sisters, so they really maybe aren't a priority for you to do right now because they're not gonna offer you anything new. I would do SLKR. I would do Rey. I would go into Jabba at that point. You know, you might want to consider... Let's see. You might want to consider Cal Kestis at that point. He will be permanent by June, July. and your guild is going to want Zepho. If they're pushing Inquisitors now, they're going to want Zepho next. And he's a great counter to like Malgus. He works great in TB. He's an all-around great character, and that's saying a lot for me because I actually very specifically hate the character of Cal Kestis. So for me to recognize the fact that he's a good character is pretty meaningful. But once you have Jabba, that's when you can maybe decide to go for more of a fun, the fun stuff that you're looking into. This is where you might want to start working on like Gas, and getting him up and running because he's just a solid character. Let's see. So if you're looking to take a break from GL, oh man, you have all these guys up and you don't have Gas up and running yet. If you're looking to take a break from GLs, I would do it after Jabba. Yeah, so you don't even have them yet. I would do it after Jabba. So SLKR, Rey, Jabba, take the break that you want to take. That's fine. Go after Gas at that point. And Profundity might not be a bad idea for you just to be able to slow farm its shards so that you don't have to like bring it to 7 stars. You're already kind of like in the spot where you're going to have most of the stuff for that, and I can see you being in a huge Zeta crunch at that point. So like I kind of said to DRX, that kind of gives you a reprieve where you're working on a ship, and you don't have to spend as many Zetas. I would personally do JML after Jabba, but I get the idea that GL grinds are really grating and they're really time consuming, and you don't want to necessarily put all of your time every time towards them. So if we're looking to take a break, that's when I would do Gas. That's when I would do Profundity, slow farm those Profundity shards. Then you'll be super caught up on fleets. And when that next fleet comes out, you're not going to have to worry as much because you'll have either an answer to it or, CG always sells us the answer as part of an old fleet like a month or 2 later. So you'll be in a good position to answer for it. That's I think where I would go with that. See what we got. Dinkleberg. Oh, I love the reference. Following your Reddit antics for a while. I don't particularly consider my Reddit antics to be antics, but okay. I'm looking for advice on where I should head next. Fleets. Let's just confirm Jabba the Hutt. But does Jabba the Hutt have Jabba the Hutt? Good morning to those of you who are... Oh, hey, look at that. Perfect. This is where I would place my... Well, you probably do have Jabba, so I'm not going to make that joke. Just looking at this. I haven't looked yet. Let's see. Top 20 in Fleet Arena are mostly Leviathans with some Executors and Profundities in between. I can get first daily, and there is a Discord server, but we don't really communicate. You don't have to communicate. That's the thing. People seem to think you have to talk in your server constantly. Again, I show this every freaking time. This is our server. This is our server, right? It's just payouts. We have a general chat. The last time I said anything was on 3.5. It's not about talking. It's just about understanding who's coming up next and not hitting those people if they're within like 2 to 3 hours. All right, so then you're using IT as your way to get that, and then I can make the this is where I put my Jabba if I had one joke. Ground War, Secret Shadows. Fanatical Devotion. I have GI. Yeah, you'll be able to do CT2 with GI. You'll be able to do CT3 too if you really hate yourself and want to spend 4 hours doing it. I don't think it's worth it. OR7 as of yesterday, so I don't have a specific farm. Wanting to get Darth Bane when I unlock him next conquest. I'm thinking about JML or Gassing as they're the ones I'm closest to. I'm leaning towards efficiency. I want Lord Vader at some point. Cheers. Have a 9 a.m. now. Oh my god. Holy shit. Up all night. I mean, you must be working night shift, I'm assuming, but damn. Lord Vader, I love Lord Vader. He's hard to work into things just because he's so costly, but I love my Lord Vader. My review. Alright, let's see. Let's see what we got here. Let's throw this up on the screen. What are we... Alright, so we're running Leviathan and hitting first. I knew we were hitting first. Just wanted to see if we were running something else. 1, 2. Awesome. Well, you know, listen, thanks for spending that hour and a half with me, honestly. I enjoyed doing it. It's obviously a lot of work, but I enjoy doing it and helping you guys out. I do like the game a lot, even though I give it a lot of shit. But I really like to see and help people get involved with the game. Kyber 3 GL, I mean, impressive. Anytime I see this, somebody who's GL lacking and being able to go this high, I give them a lot of credit. It is not easy at all. All right, so you're pretty caught up on your fleets, and this is what we've been talking about literally all morning, is making sure that we're caught up on our fleets, and that's what gets you to Kyber. I'm not officially declaring this yet, but I just want to get ahead of the curve. That's it. Ships get you to Kyber. Ships get you to Kyber. Ships get you to Kyber. Ground War, Secrets and Shadows. You know, before I look at this, let's just look at one more thing. I probably will be hitting the Jabba button. I just not officially yet. Okay. It's ironic to be Jabba the Hutt and not have him. I would consider investing in Captain Rex. You know, to get that Secrets and Shadows CT1, just because you bought this Lightspeed bundle. I mean, you have the Omicron for Hera, which is crazy to me because you don't have many of the Zetas on the team. But I would consider that as a midterm goal to kind of get him up to like G12, get the Zeta, get the Omicron. Be a great GAC team. I use mine to counter Reva all the time. Third Sister. I need to start calling her Third Sister because I'm awful at remembering how to pronounce that. Don't have Jedi Knight. Makes sense because you are on the Bane train. But you still, I mean, you have the Hera Omicron. We all make mistakes. Interesting. Okay. What I would do here, we all screw up somewhere. I applied Aiden's Omicron, which is not a bad Omicron, but I never invested in the team. So, like, she kind of sat there uselessly doing nothing for me with an Omicron invested. What I would do here is I would go towards Jedi Knight Luke. Not necessarily Jedi Master Luke yet, just Jedi Knight Luke. If you get Jedi Knight Luke with your current Jedi, Jedi Knight Luke, Revan, Bastilla, Shan, Hermit Yoda will be CT3, or will be 3. I'd really like to see a tank in there. I would say you can definitely get CT1 or CT2. Most definitely CT2 just with a really slow Jedi Knight Luke. You can get CT3 with just Jedi Knight Luke, but I'm just looking at your other Jedi, and it's maybe not worth investing in CT3 right now. So I would go towards Jedi Knight Luke right now to get at least the CT1, CT2 on Ground War. Use him as a lead. Use him with no speed mods on. Get Hermit Yoda really fast. After I get Jedi Knight Luke, yes, I am going to increase the counter. That's when I would pivot myself to Jabba as being more important than Jedi Master Luke for you. Jedi Knight Luke takes up a pretty big portion of the hardness of that Jabba farm. But as a player at your level, you really are going to want to invest in mods. And that's just, Jabba does that for you. He gives you the Smuggler's Run 2 event. After that, I'd go back to Jedi Master Luke and finish him up. All right, we're not really talking about start a farm, finishing a farm at this point because our farm right now is Jedi Knight Luke. But I would do Jedi Knight Luke into Jabba into Jedi Master Luke. Now, if you go Jedi Knight Luke into Jedi Master Luke into Jabba, it's not wrong. But I would really like to see you getting the modding ROI a little bit on the quicker side. At that point, you have built out the solid ROI for your account. So while I don't necessarily think it's the most efficient thing to do, that's the point where if Lord Vader is a character that you really enjoy, that's the point where you might be able to safely do it, depending on what's coming up next and depending on what the next fleet is and what the next GL is. But this is the point where you can say, you know what, I want to do something for me and do something that's fun for me and start working on Lord Vader. The added bonus with him, even though, again, really super expensive, is it's going to give you the Bad Batch team, which is going to give you access to Marauder as a solid counter to some of the newer fleets that are out there, which is going to help you in GAC even more than you kind of already are being helped out. Again, I don't think it's the most efficient route, but I do think that you're at a point in the game once you get Jabba and Jedi Master Luke where you already have a lot of that done, and you can kind of play around with what you think is more fun versus, having to always chase the next greatest thing. So I think that's, Jedi Knight Luke into Jabba, into JML, that's going to take you, probably 5 to 7 months at that point. Into Lord Vader, that's going to take you a pretty long time just from right there. I don't think you have to worry about the new stuff that's coming out so much, because a lot of that new stuff, you're in a 385 million guild. A lot of that newer stuff, they're not going to be super on the pulse of anyway. So I think that's where you need to go. I think Jedi Master Luke is going to help you with Conquest significantly. I think Jedi Knight Luke is going to help you with your ROI with Ground War, and I think Jabba is going to really help you with your ROI for modding, and that's going to help your account overall. And then you get to play around. Right, I'm somebody who says just GL farm, get it over with, get it done with. But that's the point where you kind of can get to choose and decide and say, you know what, I want to do this or I want to do that. This is a little bit different, and there's no wrong answer in that spot. In terms of needing Negotiator for that counter, remember that you're months away from Marauder, or from needing Bad Batch. So you have time. You have plenty of time to get your negotiator up and running for that counter, right? It's not like a super, you don't even have it at all, right? Yeah. It's not a super priority, but it's something you can start investing in now. And once you get those other things done, you still have to invest in Bad Batch. And you still, I'm assuming, are going to have to finish investing in Marauder. So it's not an urgency thing for you. But I would isolate your get one and kind of like start to slowly, not all of it right now, but start to put your get two, towards that. And I think that honestly, into Lord Vader, depending on your spending levels, you're probably looking at September to end of the year before you finish all of this. Right, so you've kind of like planned out your whole year, and then at that point you can kind of be more on the pulse, and there might be another fleet at that point, and that's, you know, the thing that you're gonna kind of want to go towards. So that's, I think, where we should go with your account, with where you are right now. Let's see. I just want to check one more thing before I. Can't spell this morning. You might want to strongly consider going for gas before Lord Vader. Well, that's a lie. I'm stupid. You need him. So never mind. You need him for Lord Vader anyway. That's just me being a dumbass. That was the only other thing, and you have to get him. So that's it. That's where we're going. Murder, She Wrote. That's all she wrote. That's whatever. I need a counter for Egnards Does a Dumb. Let's see what else we got going on. Yeah, you got plenty of time. You got time. I know the you know, the Zeta crunch is really real for you guys. I know it's really tough for you guys, but you have time. You're already in, you know, Kyber, so you're getting the crystals that you need. You're not in a situation where you're really hurting right now. You know, it's all a matter of what you want to do. So I wouldn't stress it too crazily. All right. Before I do this next one, I just want to grab another cup of coffee. So let me go brew myself a cup of coffee, and we will get started with Cybix. Let's see what we got here, yeah. And if we had any more questions before I finish up. Alright, perfect. Hit the Jabba button. Let's see what we got here. Let me take a different timestamp because I did not plan on a coffee break. So, change that timestamp to 1:49:30. And let's go. As a player who loves GAC, wants some of its team's build to be better in GAC while also being good guildmate fleets. One thing I'm going to tell you, man, I am a GAC turtle, you know, so I do know a lot of the great teams, but it's not my bread and butter. Captain Amazing, you're on our Discord. Just go down one step. Ask him about it. He's awesome. If you want like a very targeted GAC bracket type of review, you know, I would 100% get a second opinion from him. Hands down, no questions asked. Yes, Jedi Knight Luke, Jabba, Jedi Master Luke, Gas LV. Yes, I 100% do. When I'm done with this, you're not going to be able to leave me a review until after I finish up because you need a specific tag. But when I finish up, I'll tag you and you'll see that, and I appreciate that a lot. I really do. When people send me beers, right now it's all going towards Jar Jar in my like reserve. If I need to spend money. But it's always appreciated because I drink a lot of beer and it's kind of pathetic, but I like beer. Top 10 in fleets. My chart is mostly 7-star executors with 2 or 3 profundities and 1 at 7 stars. We don't have a fleet Discord. Set up a fleet Discord. It makes your life so much easier. Please, again, I showed this already today. It's nothing. Like, it's a bot that just says your times. You don't have to talk. You don't have to chat. There's another bot that we used to use that was manual, right? This one's probably more free, Boba's bot. This one, I don't know if they pay for it or not. I honestly have no idea. But it makes your life easier. Let's see, CT3, Force Moon, 1 star. Okay, so that tells me SLKR. Just finished farming Leia. All I need to do is finish her ultimate. I did buy the Lightspeed bundles, all except the Rebel and the Starkiller one. Next farm currently is Darth Revan. Thank you for reviewing my roster. Let's see what we got here. What are we climbing with? Climbing with Executor, not super consistent. That's 1 part other fleets, 1 part not having a Discord set up, 100%. I guess I can't hit the Jabba button. Yeah, man, that stuff. We were at a place in Wayne yesterday, Maggie's, and they had some Magnify stuff on tap there, and I had some of it last night. They didn't have that like passion fruit guava one, which is disappointing because it was delicious, and I really want that beer again. But I told my wife we got to go back, just me and her, to get drunk there. It was good. The distillery was a little bit weird, but the Magnify Brewing was very good. I cannot hit the Jabba button on this one, which is quite sad. I finally set up a Jabba counter. Yeah, this is so I never like my haircuts when I first get them. I call it, I mean, I don't think it looks bad. I just think I need to grow into my haircuts for like 2 or 3 days. So I tell everyone that I look kind of like Ellen DeGeneres for a week after I get a haircut. But I mean, it's better than I expected. Usually it kind of just grows up. Let's see. Cap, I don't know if you just joined us or not, but this guy, Cybix, I don't know if you did a review for him yet or not, but he's definitely looking for some GAC help. So I told him he needs a second opinion from you for some of the GAC stuff. So hopefully he gets sent your way as well. Let's see. Executor. Just Executor. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. As of right now, it looks like it's monthly. You know, as of right now, it looks like it is, and I think that their experiment. I think that they're experimenting with different cadences on ways to make money, and you know, whether or not it's working for them with this event, I have no idea. But I don't see a reason for them to change it. Okay, so right off the bat, obviously go for Ray. Right, you're there. You bought the Lightspeed bundle. Doesn't make sense not to. Forest Moon, only CT2. Let's see what we're doing here. If you want to get that Forest Moon to CT3, well, it's strange. If you want to get this to CT3, just bring Range Trooper to G12. It doesn't take you any Chirotech. You should have no problem as long as you mod for it. The one thing that I'm finding kind of strange is that your Places of Power is only CT2. With Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, you should be able to do CT3. It is going to be 1 star. You know, him and crew, and you put it on auto for like an hour, and then you come back. It's a huge pain in the ass, but it is, you know, it's doable. I think if you're looking for, you know, GAC help, you really need to invest more in your fleets. Mordecai, I honestly have never had to do it. I wish I had an answer for you. I don't have an answer for you. Maybe someone in chat has an answer. You might have to look at some videos on it. I just know that it's possible. I wanted to look at... Oh, I know what I wanted to look at. No Malgus. Said you're going after the Revan. Okay. There you go. You heard it here first. You do not. Let's see what those Old Republic look like. I know you're working on this, I believe. You're farming Darth Revan right now. Ray is on the short-term list. Let's see, Cat. Don't even have Cat. Damn. Alright, so you're a Kyber 4 player. You're looking for something to kind of really help you with GAC. You're also looking to be, you know, a good guild mate for your guild and, you know, kind of help them out. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now that your guild, well, I always get ahead of myself and then well, maybe not, actually. Never mind. You're not going to need that right now. As a Kyber 4 player, and I've said this a lot to people today, and a lot of people have even said in the chat, like, their GP and their experience and their GLs and where they're at in the game, and they've kind of corroborated this. But if you want to get to, like, Kyber 2 super easily with your roster, you need to invest more heavily in your fleets right now more than anything else. You don't have Malgus yet. You don't have Fury Class yet. Fury Class just hit Proving Grounds. You should be able to start doing that. You do have enough GL where you'll probably have something that'll be able to get you it. You should be getting Malgus shards. Again, SLKR can do it. Jedi Master Luke, I think, can do it. So you should be getting Malgus in short order. You should be getting Darth Revan in short order. That is your targeted next farm. I think that you need to invest in Profundity and Leviathan, both of them. Do Profundity first, just because you have the tools for it right now. And it's going to be a little bit quicker. You're hitting Executor. Executor's doing what it needs to do in Fleet, which means you're not going to have to invest in stars in it right away. But that's going to bring you from Kyber 4 to Kyber 2 if you have good strategy, right? If you're somebody who like is actually taking your GAC kind of seriously, which I don't, Fleets win it for you up until you get to Kyber 2. They make or break you, and they can really put you ahead even with a limited roster. I think that if you go for profundity now, while you're also working on all of those like little things towards Leviathan, it's going to solidify your fleet dominance so that you can consistently hit one in the future, but it's also going to bring you to that Kyber 2 where you're going to be able to significantly increase your fleet income just by winning a lot more. There are GL that I can isolate and say, hey, these are really great options for you. But right now, I think that you don't have enough investment in the fleet side of the game. And if you do that, it's going to help your guild with ROTE and whatever TBs they're doing. But it's also going to help you significantly, which by proxy is going to help your guild even more. That's going to take you a while, though. You know, you don't have to be on the pulse of things right now because of where you are in the guild, where you are in the game. But I think if you work on profundity now and you work into Leviathan as you start to unlock some of those things, I don't know how many shards of Malgus you have. I don't know how many shards of Fury class you have. I see you have Malakos, which means that you do Conquest. So you probably have some shards. You may need to refresh a little bit. But I see those as your most important two things to be working on, right now after Ray, because you're obviously so close to Ray. At that point, I think it really depends on your preference as a player. I think that those are the most important things, but if you are really focused on, hey, I really want to be a GAC player, I highly, 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 highly recommend talk to Captain Amazing, get a roster review from him. He knows all of his off-meta counters. I know some of them. I think he's going to do you a lot more justice for the teams to beat the teams that you need to win against. I do think fleets are going to be your top priority right now, but if we're talking about off-meta shit, go talk to him. I'm not gonna waste my time running smoke up your ass when he deals with this shit every day with an account that is at a lower GP and is punching up significantly, So focus on your fleets, focus on bringing the profundity, focus on Leviathan and Ray, just because Ray is so close. Get that second opinion because he's gonna be able to lead you in the direction that you want to be in. Way more than I'm going to be able to without second guessing myself, and I like to be very sure of the advice that I give people. While I'm timestamping this for those of you that are just joining us, we are on Discord. Me and Cap, we have our own Discord. It's in the show notes. It's in my profile on Twitch. We got a really great group over there. Very, very, very helpful people. I highly recommend jumping over there. Like I had said in a couple weeks in the past, we are looking to be the number 2 most important server for this game, and it's going to happen. I constantly get messages from people saying, hey, your Discord is growing at crazy, 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 crazy rates. And that's because I'm very serious about this, and it's going to be what it needs to be. So let's see what we got. Notaraptor here. All right, just got linked from Reddit. Top 20 is mostly Leviathans, some Profundities, and Executors. In my Fleet Arena Discord, we don't talk much. Don't need to, doesn't matter. We hit, so we can get daily payout. That's perfect. We have a good basis. All right, so 6 out of 7 at CT1 or higher. Currently working on Leia. I have all the prerequisites, G13, and I'm currently farming the relics. After Geo Leia, I plan on working towards gas. So this is 318. All of those reviews were just from one day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 8th one of the day. Holy shit. I am dead set on completing Leia as I'm 90% there. However, I'm open suggestions on what to do afterwards. I know it isn't smart right now, but I really want to slow farm Cal Kestis to lift my Jedi Master Luke. Alright, let's see what we got. Not a Velociraptor. We are hitting first, but I'm curious what we're hitting first with. Doing it with Profundity, mostly hitting. How many Leviathans? That shard, did he say? Oof, okay. Dex linked a, he's on our Discord, and you can tag him and ask him about it, but he linked a pretty reliable Profundity versus Leviathan strategy. I don't use it, but, you know, that might be something to look into if it makes it a little bit easier to do these battles. Only one fucking GL. Oh, I shouldn't be cursing. I don't care. Damn. Jedi Master Luke's not a bad one to be the one, though. See how close we actually are to Leia. A lot of people seem to think they're close to things, and they're, alright, that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay. I'm trying to be better at not dropping F-bombs. In my real life, I honestly don't curse terribly often. I want them to mean something. Let's see where we are here with our Cal Kestis farm. Cal Marin, Seer, pretty far. Okay, Tarful and Saw. All right, I was talking about, I didn't actually say this at all this week. I was talking about this a lot last week, though, in terms of the Cal Kestis farm. I wouldn't necessarily start it just yet because you're not going to get it during this current event cycle, and it's going to be permanent the next time it comes around, as long as it comes around, you know, and is normal. Hey, wow, I wasn't paying attention at all. The Lysol, man, thanks for, you raid me like every Sunday morning. It's becoming like a thing between us, and you know it's crazy. I don't even we don't even chat at all, so I appreciate it. But you got to hit me up on Discord at some point, and let's chat and talk a little bit. I'll try to remember to do so because I'm going to a movie right after this, and I'll forget, and that's kind of how I do things. I just forget. Back to Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. Because he's going to be accelerated and all of his stuff is getting accelerated now, you know, start working on that stuff as it gets accelerated. Again, this isn't necessarily the most efficient route, but I'm kind of going off of what you've already said, which is that you really want to do Jedi Knight Cal Kestis too. We actually saw Dune 2 last weekend. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I give it like an 85. My wife liked it a lot more than I did. We saw The Innocent, the Sydney Sweeney movie last night. It wasn't super great. We're going to see Ghostbusters today. We go to the movies a lot. Maybe we should do like a movie review Twitch thing. Okay, so back to this account now that I'm getting distracted. We're pretty close to GL Leia. Yeah, that weird vagina dune bucket was strange as all hell, man. I didn't buy it. Do GL Leia now, because obviously you're super close. Yeah, we go all the time. Last year we saw 55 movies in theaters, literally all the time. I love movies. We have the pass. That's what I spend my money on, is going to the movies. So do Jalea because one, it's a hard priority for you, and because you're super close to it, right? You're already there. You have 500. I use the carbonate circuit boards as kind of like as a gauge for how close or how far you are to something, but you already have everything at G13 anyway. You might as well do it. I see that Kylo and Rey, you bought the Lightspeed bundle presumably for both of them. It does not make sense to not do both of them at this point. You have the resource acquisition right now of everything that's important at CT1 or higher. So you're in a pretty good position. You know, do Leia, do Kylo, do Rey. That's 3 GL that you're going to bang out in like 2 to 3 months maximum, which is super, super, super nice for you. 100% go that route. You have the profundity. You're doing completely fine with that. You want to do Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. Again, do it as a slow farm. Do it as a 5 battles a day thing as they start to become accelerated, because he is going to be permanent the next time he comes around, as long as we follow normal cadence. And there really is no reason not to follow normal cadence at this point. So I would highly recommend, you know, if this is a passion farm for you, do it as they become accelerated. It'll be easier for you. At that point, I'm going to hit my Jabba counter, man. Go for Jabba. You know, it's for somebody who is wanting, for somebody who's going to be hitting so many GL in such a short amount of time, you're going to be hitting hard on the modding issue, and that's something that you're going to want to strongly consider, is being able to be solid on your mod foundation, right? Smuggler's Run 2 is this beautiful, beautiful event. And Rebel Roundup, you have at CT1 right now. It's going to bring it up to CT3. I talked about this way earlier in the stream. I love Jabba in Conquest. I use him as my no Ufus, no Sith, no Jedi team of choice. I also use him a little bit for blind. Chupio is the better way to do that, but I can use him as a push team a lot of the times, and I just put on auto basic sometimes and get those done without any problems at all. You're at a point where you're going to be hitting all of these targets super close to each other, so Jabba is going to be something that you kind of need to go for. No questions asked. That's just what needs to happen for you. You have Executor, Leviathan. I want to see if it's worth it for you to even consider this right now. Oh, okay. You got Malgus. What about our Fury? Okay. I don't know how many shards of Fury class you have, but you have Malgus. That is coming to... Oh, you need another guild once you hit all of these targets too, because you're so close to them. Once you... Next week, Proving Grounds is going to hit. I don't know if you're going to be able to do it right away with your 1GL. It depends on how nice they are or what the team is. But you should be able to do the Fury one in the next month or two at the very least, just because you're going to have a lot more GL at your disposal. SLKR is pretty typically good at doing them. JML, who you already have, is pretty typically good at doing them. So it does seem reasonable. I think after Jabba, I would really push heavily towards Leviathan. You're going to start to see the next fleet meta come out, you know, and if it's more accessible to you, then do that. But we don't know that yet, and we're not at a point where we can make that decision yet. So only going off of what we know, I think that Leviathan is the better choice for you after you finish up where you are, you know. So Leia, so SLKR next, so Rey, slow farming Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, because that's a passion farm for you. Doing Jabba, going into Leviathan. I think after Jabba, we might already have an idea of what the next fleet meta is. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for you to decide, hey, do I go for Leviathan or do I go for the next thing based on what's easy for you. What I will tell you is depending on the shards of Fury class you have, you may need to refresh some of the Fury class proving grounds depending, but I don't think so. I think you'll be okay based on what I'm looking at, maybe once or twice, but you don't have to do that till the end. So that's where I'd go. You've made this super easy. You're just on the cusp of so many things that it doesn't really deviate. It doesn't really make sense to deviate too crazily from that. So let's try to get at least one more in. I hear my wife stirring upstairs, and when we do have the movie to go to, like I said, we go pretty much every weekend. It's just my fun thing. We like to sit down, we sneak in a 6-pack. We usually buy the overpriced drinks at the place if we go to the one by us that has a bar. We're not going to that one today, so we'll probably sneak something in. And if it's not a good movie, I take a nap, and if it is a good movie, I enjoy the movie. All right, let's see. Good morning. Review number 5, Lady Geek. This is review number 5 for you. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are on review number 9, but you are right. Like, let's smash that shit. And guys, listen, do me a favor, seriously. Before I do this last review of the day, as I said before, we will make this Discord server the second most important server for this game, for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And we're not quite there in terms of me putting in a recruiting area for guilds yet. I want to do that next. But if you are on our server, if you enjoy talking to the people, if you have gotten help there, create an invite, put it in your alliance server, put it in your guild server. Say, hey man, this is the place to be. Help us grow. We've been here for less than a month and there's almost 600 people. Yeah, I started super early today because I knew we were going to an early movie. And I wanted to get as many of these out of the way as possible so that I can make sure that people were helped out. So let's see if we can get this one more done before I get yelled at because we're running short on time. Took a short 2 to 4 month break, want some guidance. Top 20 is Executors, Profundities, up to 10, then Chimera, Malgus, Negotiators. Okay, no contact with the Shard. I am hitting top 20 to 50 due to the break. Before that I was 10 to 5. I just want to check what are... Okay, 2.5 million account. What are we climbing with? I know I have not changed over to GG yet, but I did that on purpose. I just want to see this. Okay. All 0 assault battles. All right, we got to start working on our ROI here. Farming, working on Executor as my relics, and IG 2000 should be my line together. Jedi Knight revving. Finish up teams that are missing one character. I started April 29th of last year. I've been really trying to be efficient. Negotiators almost unlocked. Thanks for the enjoyable content. I appreciate that. Honestly, I do. All right, we're working on Executor. Let's see where we are with that. Has anyone seen Ghostbusters yet? Does it suck? Am I walking into a minefield? Oh, okay, we're close. We're close. We got this. You bought the Lightspeed bundles. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's check this out. Okay, so obviously finish up Executor. Oh, look at that. I didn't do... You guys didn't remind me to put the GG up. We bought the Lightspeed bundle for SLKR. We bought the Lightspeed bundle. I was doing so good at that too. For Ray. Obviously finish Executor. You're very close. 390 circuit board, so that gives me a pretty good idea. Hydrum, where were you 2 minutes ago, man? And I did so good. For all 8 before this, I managed to not screw it up. And then just on this last one, I ended up messing up the whole thing. obviously finish it, and once you finish it, reach out to your fleet Discord. And if your fleet does not have a Discord yet, start the fleet Discord. It makes things so much easier. That's going to help you a lot. With primarily executors and profundities, you should have no problem hitting 1 once you get executor to number 5. Don't worry, man. I love you. It's not your fault. There's like a 20-second delay for whatever reason anyway. Cheers till next time. Cheers, brother. We'll get another beer another time. We'll do another Reddit meetup. That'd be fun again. It was fun last time. I thought everyone was gonna be weird, and it was not the case. I had a good time. So hit that executor. Get a fleet Discord together. If there is no fleet Discord, then we need to start shoring up our ROI for our assault battles, because right now you're at a 0. You're doing absolutely nothing for them. I do want to check out how close we actually are with SLKR. We don't have finalizer yet, so let's do some silencer. Ooh, okay. So we are a little bit farther than we thought we were towards this. We need to start working on this. What about bomber? We should have bomber, right? Because we are doing executor. All right. Here's what I would do with your account right now. I would say go for SLKR and Ray right away because you have the Lightspeed bundles, but you're pretty far on those ships right now, and I don't think it's going to be the smartest road for you to do that right this second. What I do think you should do is that you should be going for C, right? Go for Sith Eternal Emperor, because there is a nice ROI and there's a nice way to go in between Executor to C. There is a little bit of overlap there. C is going to help you to get CT3 on Places of Power. It's not going to get you exactly there, but it's also going to help you to get CT3 on Forest Moon and on Rebel Roundup. So it's going to kind of help shore up your assault battles a lot in order to do that. And at your point in the game, there's no such thing as a bad GL, right? He's just as good as any other GL. He's going to be quicker to get. You already have TIE Bomber where it needs to be. So that shouldn't be too bad of a road for you to do that. To do that pretty much right after your Executor farm is finished up. After that, well, in the middle of your C farm, I would start really working on your ships for Finalizer, right? Silencer, I think, is a Cantina farm. So maybe just do a couple battles a day to get it closer so you don't cut yourself off from signal data. But everything else you should be putting a little bit towards, so that by the time you finish up C, your Finalizer will be activated and you can start more seriously considering SLKR as a second GL. I don't think he's necessarily the best second GL, but because you have the Lightspeed bundle, it does make sense to go for him, and it is going to help you, and he does really help with Proving Grounds to kind of get you caught up when you get to 4 million GP. But you need this time right now to slow farm those requirement ships, right? So start that soon so that when you finish C, you're already there. You're kind of, let's see where we are with Ray's ships. We're in a better position with Ray's ships. Okay. You're in a much, much better position with Ray's ships. That's nice. Let me just pop into my game real quick to make sure I'm not missing anything. Journey guide. Ships. Oh, right. They're not in the fucking journey guide, because why would they be? Let me pull up my notes app, because I have it in my notes app somewhere. Notes open. I know you can't see them. That's okay. Radis, Snips, Lando, Houndstooth, Poe, Resistance, X-Wing. Oh, okay. All right. Wow. You should be getting Radis around the next time that it comes around. You seem fairly shored up on Ray. Let me just double check our relics again and where we're at. That 440. I think what I would do here is after you get Executor, you should already be pretty good with Radis. So maybe go for Ray first. She's not going to give you a lot of ROI, but she's going to give you a fun new GL toy to play with, and it's going to be very helpful to you. Then go for Sith Eternal Emperor and start working on those Kylo ships so that by the time you finish Sith Eternal Emperor, you will be able to work on Finalizer and you will be able to get Kylo. Right? We're looking at, because you have really no ROI right now on your account, you're looking at a pretty slow process of getting Executor, Ray, Sith Eternal, and then Kylo Ren. Even though they appear to be pretty close, I think that I would be going for Jedi Knight Luke and the Jedi Master Luke afterwards. But honestly, I would reassess everything as you start to unlock Finalizer and as you start to think about Kylo Ren more seriously. The reason I suggest Jedi Master Luke is he'll kind of shore up the rest of the ROI that you need in order to get the 5 of 7, which I believe is super, super, super important for an account to be in good standing. But again, because that's going to be months and months and months away, there might be better options that come up, or a Lightspeed bundle comes up, and we don't want to make those choices now when we don't have all of the information. So, with all of that said, I think that your path is going to be a long one, but it's a pretty super simple run, right? Finish up Executor, talk to your Fleet Shard. Do Ray just because you're super close and your ships are already kind of where they need to be. Go into C while you're working up on the Kylo Ren Finalizer stuff. As you finish up Kylo Ren and Finalizer, Jedi Knight Luke is probably your best option, but that kind of depends on where the game is at that point. If you have any other questions, hit us on Discord. There's always friendly people willing to help you out. That's what I love about our Discord community. With that said, guys, we are nearing 2.5 hours. My movie's at 11. It's 10. It takes me a half hour to get there. I like to go to Cheesecake Factory first, get some fried pickles and a beer. So I got to get there a little bit early. Depending on tonight, I might pop on again tonight, depending on what's going on, to finish up the rest of my roster reviews. Not next week, but the week afterwards is my spring break from school. It's also a territory battles week, so we're going to go pretty hard that entire week. I'll do all my territory battle stuff, and we'll kind of go throughout the entire week and have some fun. Once again, hit us up on Discord. Share our Discord in your guild. Share our Discord in your alliance. Tell them this is the place to be. Help us grow. We're going crazy. Cap and I are on this journey. If any of you are small creators that don't have a Discord, we also have a nice little niche Discord place for you guys where you can grow your audiences as well. So get on there. Talk to me. Talk to him. We'll give you information. Have a great rest of your weekend.